So, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. After 5 seasons of twists, turns, and plenty of chaos, You has wrapped up with a finale that leaves us with some big questions. But one thing's for sure, Joe Goldberg finally gets his comeuppance. The finale gives us closure, but also leaves us with a lingering question. What exactly does Joe's letter mean in the end? Stick around because we're going to break it all down. Let's start with the most satisfying part of the finale. Joe Goldberg finally getting held accountable for his crimes. For years, Joe has been slipping through the cracks, avoiding punishment for the countless lives he's ruined. But in Season 5, that all changes. The final moments of the series make sure Joe faces the consequences of his actions. In the penultimate episode, Joe nearly dies in a fire at Mooney's bookstore. However, Bronte, the woman who's been hunting him for justice for Beck, saves him. But here's the twist. She doesn't save him out of love or mercy. She saves him because she wants him to face everything he's done. She wants Joe to confront his crimes head-on and not get away with it all. This is a fitting end for a character who spent years manipulating and evading the truth.
What the fuck?
Now you might be wondering, why doesn't Bronte just let Joe die in the fire? Why go through all the trouble of saving him only for him to suffer in prison? The answer is simple. Bronte wants Joe to suffer a fate worse than death. She knows that for Joe, living a life of loneliness in prison, facing the truth about his actions, will be far more torturous than anything else. As she tells him, "You are going to live the rest of your life alone." By letting Joe survive, Bronte ensures that Joe will have to face his crimes in court, in front of the world. Joe can no longer hide behind his lies and justifications. The truth is finally coming out, and Bronte is the one making sure it does. This is the justice we've all been waiting for. Not a quick death, but a lifetime of reflection and punishment.
In the end, my punishment is even worse than I imagined.
So what happens to Joe after all this? In the end, Joe is imprisoned for the many murders he committed. His arrest is a satisfying moment for viewers who have been hoping to see Joe face justice. But it's not just about seeing Joe locked up. It's about the people he's hurt getting their voices back. The truth about Joe's crimes finally comes to light. We get to see the names of his victims cleared, from Guinevere Beck to Love Quinn, and even the people he framed, like Dr. Nikki. This is a moment of redemption for those who were wronged, and it's one of the most cathartic parts of the finale. Now, let's talk about that closing scene, and the letter Joe receives while in prison. It's a haunting moment that really highlights the twisted nature of Joe's character, and more broadly, the society we live in. As Joe reads the letter from one of his admirers, he reflects on the fact that some people still see him as a figure to be idolized, despite all the horrific things he's done. The letter is full of depraved fantasies, and Joe reads it with a sense of resignation. Here's where it gets really interesting. Joe's final words aren't just about him. He says, "Maybe we have a problem as a society. Maybe we should fix what's broken in us." And then, he goes even further, adding, "Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe it's you." Joe is shifting the blame once again, this time onto the audience. He's acknowledging that his story, his obsession, his crimes, they were all driven by the world around him, the very people who watch and consume his story. It's almost as if Joe is accusing us of enabling him by being so fascinated by his twisted narrative. It's a chilling moment because, in a way, Joe is right. His actions were made possible by a society that glorifies crime, sensationalizes true crime stories, and idolizes villains.
It's unfair. Aren't we all just products of our environment?
So, what does this letter mean in the context of the show's finale? It's a critique of our culture's obsession with people like Joe. The anti-heroes, the villains, the ones who do bad things, but somehow captivate us. The letter, and Joe's monologue, call attention to how society often glamorizes criminals, even those as dangerous as Joe. The irony here is that Joe's entire character arc has been about his self-delusion. He sees himself as a victim, always blaming his actions on the people around him or the circumstances. Even at the end, he's still in denial, still playing the victim. But this letter, this final moment, is a direct jab at both Joe and the viewers. It's as if the show is saying, "You've been watching Joe for all these seasons, but maybe the real problem isn't Joe. It's you for enjoying his story." In the final moments of You, we also get a glimpse of Joe's son, Henry. The show leaves the fate of Henry open-ended, but there's hope that he won't follow in his father's footsteps. After a brief conversation with Joe, Henry calls him a monster and disconnects. This could be a sign that, despite Joe's twisted ways, Henry has the chance to break free from his father's legacy.
It was you. You're the monster.
With Henry in Kate's custody, there's hope for a brighter future for him. The series doesn't fully resolve this, leaving us with a question. Will Henry choose to be like Joe, or will he make a different path? This ambiguity leaves room for speculation and gives us one final emotional question to think about. And there you have it. Season 5 ends with Joe Goldberg facing the consequences of his actions. And it's a fitting end for a character who's been manipulating everyone around him for years. His final letter highlights the deeper issue, the way society sometimes glorifies criminals and overlooks their true horrors. Joe may have gotten his comeuppance, but his final monologue serves as a warning to all of us. What do you think? Does Joe's letter really change how you see his character, or is he just continuing his cycle of self-deception? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite shows.
Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe it's you.